Hey, what's going on YouTube? So today I'm going to showcase a 1-bar Oakensoul build for the Stamina Dragonknight, also known as Stamdk. This build is capable of pulling over 91k on the parse dummy. Furthermore, this build is not a solo build and is optimized for group content. I will be using mythics and trial gear, so this is not a super beginner friendly build, but rather more for endgame players who prefer 1-bar builds. With update 35, Oakensoul got nerfed, but the good thing is it's still very viable. With that being said, here we go. So starting off in the character sheet, I have 64 points in a stamina and I'm running the Thief Mundus. For the race, we're a Dark Elf. I think Dark Elves have some of the best passives in terms of stamina DPS. For the food, we're going to be running RTM Takeaway Broth for any content where we do need the health. A cheaper and almost just as good alternative would be Dubious Camera on Throne. And lastly, if you're parsing or just flat out need more sustain, you can opt to run Lava Foot Soup and Salt Rice. For the potions, because we're running Oakensoul and it gives us access to Major Brutality and Major Savagery, two very important buffs for stamina DPS, we can just opt to run Essence of Stamina. This way we get our stamina back and we have access to Major Endurance, which is going to increase our stamina recovery. So for CP, for the blue tree, we're going to be running Exploiter. Swap this out for a crit damage CP for content, especially if you don't have access to off balance. Deadly Aim, Thaumaturge, and Wrathful Strikes. For the red tree, Boundless Vitality, Fortified, Rejuvenation, and Bloody Renewal. So for the gear, we're going to be running 5 pieces of Pillar and Nern paired with 5 pieces of Reliquin, 1 piece Slime Crawl, and 1 piece Oakensoul. So breaking it down in the main hand, we have a Nern Hone Pillar and Nern Dagger with a flame damage enchant, and the offhand charge with a poison damage enchant. For the head, we have 1 piece Slime Crawl and Light. This is traded in Divines with a max dam enchant. For 1 piece of the body, we have a Pillar and Nern Divines with a max dam enchant. And for the body, we have 5 pieces of Reliquin, all traded in Divines with max dam enchants as well. And for the jewelry, we have 2 pieces of Pillar and Nern jewelry, both with weapon damage enchants traded in Bloodthirsty, with lastly the Oakensoul Ring, which is also in Bloodthirsty with a weapon damage enchant. So for the skills, we're going to be running Venomous Claw, Molten Whip, Noxious Breath, Flames of Oblivion, Deadly Cloak, and Standard of Might. So for the rotation, we're going to be keeping up our dots dynamically, meaning as soon as they fall off, recasting it. You can make this a little bit more easy by combining Venomous Claw and Noxious Breath together, and then dynamically casting Flames of Oblivion and Deadly Cloak. And then when you don't have anything better to cast, then your Molten Whip is going to be your spammable. And then lastly, when all of your dots are down would be the best time to cast your Standard of Might, so you can just go straight into a whip spam. So closing thoughts, first up, for bar slots, if you need another bar slot, Deadly Cloak is probably the first one to go. You can replace that with anything that you need for a certain situation. A good option is something like Vigor or Coagulating Blood. Both are good heals. And if you want to run a more traditional setup where you spam Stone Giant instead of Whip, feel free to do that as well. It's also going to benefit the group with the stacks of Stagger, so that's another option you could do. So for gear alternatives, instead of going Reliquin, you can opt to go Coral Riptide. You will have to manage your stamina though. For replacements for Pillar and Nern, you have a couple different options. Advancing Yokeda is a good option, Whirl of Depths, Mantle of Sororia, and Order's Wrath. And if you want a super budget build, then you can just go Order's Wrath with Hunting's Rage and you should be good to go. And I think that wraps it up. Thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below, or better yet, come join our Discord. My website is now available and open to the public. I will try my best to update it for every build I make. Furthermore, I'd like to get into content creation full time, so I've started a channel membership for those who would like to support me. One added perk is that members will get build request priority. Both of the links will be in the description. And lastly, if you feel like the build has helped you in any way, please consider subbing and liking the video. Once again, thank you again, and attached is a parse. See you in the next one.